Welcome, bienvenue, de nouveau. I welcome to you for this YouTube live session where we are going to present a new program for TEF and TCF Canada preparation, which we are going to start in the first week of September. We are also going to answer all your questions and queries that you might have with regards to the details of this program. And we are also going to talk about the methodology that we have been working on since last few weeks that we're going to implement in this new program that we are launching. Uh, so very quickly, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to see one whiteboard or blackboard as I used to call it. Can you guys see my screen? Just let us know in the comment because we had some technical issues, so I don't want to take things for granted. So is the screen visible? Okay, fantastic. Okay, fantastic. So I'll go back to my whiteboard. So as you are aware that Canadian immigration system has restarted in full flow every 2 weeks. We have express entry draws now. And as you can notice, the number of invitations have been going up and up. So last draw number of invitations were around 2,250 and the cutoff was around 525 CRS points as I understand. And as more and more draws happen on bi-weekly basis and more the number of invitations increase, the CRS score will come down more and more. We don't know exactly how much it will be, but it should come back to near about the same range that it used to be, somewhere between 470 and 500. Before pandemic started, we had this kind of usually it used to be about 470 to 490, somewhere like that. So it should come back around that level. But we don't know how long it's going to take to come back to that level. So while that is happening, what we could do is we could work on our profiles and we could try to boost our CRS scores further to be in the best shape possible to go as close as 500 or even 500 plus, so that as soon as the draws happen, more and more draws happen, and CRS cutoff drops down, we are in the best possible position to get the invitation. So that's a little background. The reason that I think probably after December 2020, Canada government had not conducted any express entry all program draws till about July 2022. So it's almost like a 1.5 years of no program, no draws for no express entry programs or all program draws. So that is the reason why the CRS cutoffs are very inflated right now. That is one of the reasons why cutoff is very inflated right now. But it should come down to more realistic levels in near future. So as a result of this pandemic related pause, even at BBarters, we were not coming up with new programs because there was a lot of uncertainty around when is going to restart and what is going to happen, what will be the CRS scores and stuff like that. And first of all, we did not know when are they going to resume the draws again. So for that, we were just offering our existing services and we did not launch or design any new programs during that period. Now that the express entry system is back on track and it's going to continue that way, because the fact remains that Canada needs immigration for its economic growth. So it's not like they can do away with without immigration. So they need immigration. So it's going to continue unless another pandemic comes around, which is unlikely. So that getting that out of the way, we are now going to focus on French, and we are now going to focus on TEF and TCF Canada preparation exams. Okay, so we know now that draws are happening and what the system is. We anyway at BBarters, we never claim or we never say that we are the immigration experts. We are not. We know some context, but we're not that. What we deal or what we work with is the French and specifically TEF and TCF Canada exam preparations. Okay. So we have been doing this since I have been doing this guiding students since April 2020. So it's been 2 years and some time, 2.5 years almost now. Before that, if you are not aware, I myself started preparing for TEF, for Canadian immigration, back in January 2019, and I was able to give the exam in somewhere around December 2019, and I was able to score the required CLB 7, C1, B2, C1 score, and thus I got the invitation from Canada somewhere around January 2020 and something like that, and then pandemic happened. So eventually, just to complete the story, I am a legal permanent resident of Canada right now, but I now, since I have moved to France for education and work, and I now I'm based in Paris. So we have been doing this actively. BBarters is in this space of guidance for TEF and TCF Canada exams since last 2.5 years. During this time, we have interacted, or we have worked with hundreds of students in various capacities. We had live batches, we had tutorials programs, which is where it's a self-driven program where students take advantage of the pre-recorded sessions, and there's a live component of it that we conduct the group study sessions, weekly group study sessions, and speaking practice and stuff like that. So you are aware, probably. If you are not, the details are available on our website, which I'll just quickly go towards for one moment of time. So this is our website, bbarters.com. And if you go to programs page, the details of our tutorials program is available there. All the features, you can even take a 3-day free trial if you want. So this program, which we were offering, this was the only program we were offering in last about 1.5 years during the pandemic. It's more like a self-driven program. That is to say, most of the contents are pre-recorded sessions that you can watch according to your own schedule, based on your own timings and schedule, whatever you're flexible with. And there is some live component. As I said, we have group study sessions where students who are eligible for that, once they complete a certain portion of assignments, come together, and a team member from BBarters is the moderator, and we speak, we listen, and we do some reading and writing practices of French. So that's a minor live part of the program, but most of it is self-driven program. Now, since the draws have started and we have more visibility about the express entry system and how it's going to go, we are coming back with our live program, which used to be there before pandemic, more or less. So the live program is called as TEF and TCF Canada Extensive Preparation Program. And this program is slightly different than what we conducted earlier. Like, we also had live programs earlier, but we have changed the model. We have done some research and we have come back with a new model this time. So just going to go through various major details, and then we're going to get into the details of it. And if you guys have any questions, okay, I should come back a bit. And if you have any questions, you let me know, and I'll start addressing those questions one by one. So we have divided this program into 3 phases. As you can see, we have phase 1, which is roughly starting from scratch, more or less. Like, you start from basics of French, and we cover all the topics which you will need to roughly achieve A2 plus level. That is, we're talking about CLB 4 level in French. This phase includes 60 sessions, out of which 40 will be live sessions conducted by us, like me, and they will be like this, like you're seeing. We'll have Blackboard, we'll have Instructor and the students together in a single online forum, like some kind of online setting. And rest 20 sessions will be pre-recorded sessions. They will be mostly about grammar and some technical topics that we have already taught. So we will create a schedule for students where they will have to watch those pre-recorded sessions, and then based on the same topics, we'll conduct another live session. Like, for example, let me simplify it for you. So let me go back to my whiteboard. So let's say there's a topic of present tense, okay, in French. So what we propose is there will be one pre-recorded session on this topic, okay. So first, we will ask, in our schedule, students will have to go through this session, okay. So they understand the basics of it, like what are the conjugations, what are the basic usages and everything. So that's one part. But then we conduct one live session on same exact topic. Okay, I'll be conducting that session as an instructor. So where what we do, we revise the contents of the pre-recorded sessions. So we revise them. If there are any queries, for example, any technical queries, student did not understand anything, some difficult part of the topic, so that will be revised. We will do more examples, example based, more examples, and revision, and some activity like you'll have to solve some exercises in this second session. Then we don't stop there. So what do? We do another live session. So this was first pre-recorded, first live, and then we have second live session. Here, this session will be more about application of the topic. That is to say, we are not going to teach in this session. In this session, it will be more like activities, whether it's reading, listening, writing, speaking, but those activities will be centered around the contents of the topic that we already discussed in these first two sessions. So this model we are proposing because what we realized when we conducted the programs earlier, previous batches, we realized that we had time constraint, right? Because students wanted the program to end in a certain period of time. We did not have infinite time, or we did not even have time that Alliance Francaise takes for that matter. So we had a very limited amount of time. And we were teaching everything right from scratch, like literally from ABCD to all the topics that we need for B2 plus score in Canada exam, TEF Canada exam. So time constraint and teaching needs and students needs. So we could, most of it was teaching, and most of the program was about teaching, and the application part was handled in our programs using the exercises and speaking practices and stuff like that. The issue, sort of slight issue in this model was the application part of the language, where you have to apply. Language cannot be learned just by understanding it. This is not mathematics. This is not science, where there is some topic, you understand it, and that's it. No. Language can only be learned by applying it, by repeating it, by revising it. Just understanding it is probably not sufficient. So, what we are aware of this, it's not like we have recently discovered this and that's why we changed the program. No, we were aware of this during this offering also. But and we used to emphasize on it all the time. So but because of the time constraints and the nature of the program, this part of application was mostly responsibility of the students themselves, that they had to do all the exercises, they had to create a sort of their own study groups, they had to apply, they had to practice it with somebody or something like that. But then throughout the journey with the students, we realized that due to many reasons, they they couldn't do it as much it was required. They understood the language, they appreciated our teaching, they were extremely happy with uh, our guidance. That was never in doubt. But the self application of the language, or practicing the speaking, writing, or listening part on their own, based on their learning from our program, wasn't being done as much it was required. So what we thought this time around, rather than spending the whole energy again in teaching everything from scratch, we already have a very good set of pre-recorded sessions. So we will split this duty of teaching the basics and grammar between pre-recorded sessions and revision sessions, so that you learn it once, it gets reinforced in the revision session, and then it gets reinforced again in the live practice, like the activity session. So each topic or any particular topic is being particularly revised 3 times effectively. Once you learn it, then it is discussed, revised, and practiced in the second session. And the third session, via activities based on that topic, you apply it and you revise it at the same time. So the reinforcement is at the base of this new program. So we are revising and reinforcing, because as I mentioned earlier, just understanding the language is not enough. You have to reinforce, revise, apply. It has to become part of your DNA. It has to become part of your neurons. That's when you retain the language. That's the only way you retain the language, and thus you are able to speak and write in it. So that's a major change that we have brought around, so that we are taking even more responsibility than before. We are giving even more guidance. But this doesn't take away the fact that this still doesn't take away the fact that we are still a minority stakeholder in your journey. Okay. Even though we are proposing more activities and more reinforcement and more revision, we are still minority stakeholders. Eventually, as it was true in the previous batches, and it is still true in these batches, if you are going to succeed in this objective of getting CLB 7 or B2 plus score in either TCF or TEF Canada exam, you are going to be the person who is responsible for your success. Like at least I would say 75% or more, you are the one who's going to make it happen. And rest, the minority part is with the guidance or the instructor that is there to guide you. So that is not changing. Maybe we are doing more now than before, but still the huge majority of the responsibility lies with the students because it is that kind of journey, and we are not shying away from that fact. We are not selling that join this program or join our program and that's it, you don't need to do anything else apart from this. No, that's definitely not true. So you still need to study on your own, you still need to put in a lot of hours. That has not changed ever, but we are slightly remodeling our program so that we help you more, we are able to help you more, we are able to help you in a better manner. And this we have learned from our experiences with the students, where they struggled a lot, where they, what was the more difficult thing for them to do. Despite the struggle, obviously there were a lot of candidates which were able to apply, which were able to study more, find that concentration or find that focus, and were able to succeed. That's not to say, but then there were a lot of students which who couldn't study on their own a lot, who couldn't find that inspiration or motivation. So we are trying to add what you say, address that a little bit. We're trying to see if we can also help in that regard and make it more effective rather than just teaching. Let's make it more dynamic, let's make it more reinforcement based. So that's a big change that we are introducing. So as I said, phase one will be 60 sessions till A2 plus level. So right now when we are starting, we are only saying that you take admission to phase one only, uh, and then after you complete the phase one, by the way, this is basically 3 sessions per week. So you'll have to watch 1 session and then 2 live sessions. There'll be 3 sessions per week. And then at this point of time, we'll conduct an exam after phase one to see your progress, how much you have learned, are you comfortable with your experience, are you benefiting, are you able to apply all the concepts. So we'll take some exam, and then we will conduct admissions for phase two based on that. And then eventually, our phase two has a similar structure, exactly more or less the same structure, except we are going to be studying the topics which are from around A2 plus level to B2 plus level. So that's the next set of topics, like slightly more difficult topics. And eventually, we are going to, after that, that's another big point, another milestone. And then we're going to conduct another exam, another test to see where you are at that point of time. And based on your progress and how much you have, your efforts and your stage, you can then go for phase three, which is a 1 month intensive program specific preparation, where we basically are going to do full exam simulations 4 times, like all the modules, reading, writing, speaking, and writing, all the 4 essential modules of the exam, whether it's TEF or TCF, will have both patterns. They're quite similar, but there are some differences in the exams. But there are not like, it's not like one exam is more easier than other. That's not the case. And if you want more clarity, we can discuss that later in this session. So that's the third phase of the program. As I already mentioned, this is our focus now: continuous monitoring, evaluation support, and more importantly, continuous reinforcement methodology to master the language application. So we are going to be slightly more focused on the language application part because we are already done teaching a lot in all these years. So we know how to teach and everything, and all those sessions are there for you. In fact, in our YouTube playlist also, you can see a lot of videos where if you want to kind of like a slide demo about how we teach and what we teach, you can get that. So you know that we are able to teach, but now we are more interested in language application because that's the part which is slightly more difficult. All right, so I'll stop here because I've given you some major chunk of what this new program is about and what's the change, slightly bigger change. Now if you have any questions at this point of time, let's answer that. But before we do that, I'll just quickly update you about certain things. Um, the timings, as you are aware, that there are two live sessions in each week. So one of them will be around 9 p.m. Indian Standard Time, mostly either Wednesday. We'll have two batches, so you can choose between Wednesday and Thursdays. And one of the live session will be on either Saturday or Sunday on 4 p.m. IST. So those are the timings that we had a similar timings in our previous set of batches also. Uh, Apart from that, I'm actually now based in Paris, as probably it's evident enough. So I'm showing my Eiffel Tower in all the pictures and stuff like that. This has been really amazing experience. I've been here since last 11 months. I was in another part of France before moving to Paris, and this really helps me to, not that I already spoke French when I was in India, but when I moved here, I got the taste of culture, taste of street language, taste of accents, and expressions, more about, like, language expressions, not like how we study as a student when we were in India. That was good for exam, but this is more good for living. So it was a slight struggle in the beginning because I had to understand all the accents and all the shortcuts and slang and everything. But it's getting better and better. I also engage with a lot of French speakers on everyday basis. So I will also try to bring all my friends here into picture. Like, probably they can help us a bit with the native accents and some activities and stuff like that. I'm sure people are very nice here. A lot of them are very nice. So that's an added advantage that we have now. Uh, like, the principal instructor himself is based in France and Paris, and we all always constantly engaging with people from France because they know their language the best. But yeah, that perspective will be helpful in delivering better, guidance. That's pretty much that. So we'll stop here. I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk all the time. So we'll take some questions at this point of time, and yeah, we'll take it from there. Okay. So I know you already have been asking questions. I'll probably have to scroll a bit. Let me. Okay. Speaking and writing. Okay. Let me just. Tanmay has asked, phase one covers A1 and A2. What is the duration of it? Okay. So I think that's a good. That's a straightforward question. You could do the calculation, but let's address this, the duration part of it, so that it's clear for most of you. Okay. So as you can see, phase one is 60 sessions, and as we said, the schedule is 3 sessions per week. That means it is roughly 20 weeks, which is about, you start from A0 basically, and you reach till A2 plus, like we cover that much. So this, how much is this? This should be 4.5 months, four and a half, yeah, 4.5 months. And exactly similar schedule is for phase two. So it should also be 4.5 months. This is actually the ideal, I mean, almost ideal duration for going from basic to B2 plus level in French. Right from the first video that I had created on YouTube, I mean, the very first video when I myself got the score, and I shared my experience with you guys. The oldest video that we have put up on this topic, we always maintain from day one that you need best case scenario. We always say this is the best case scenario for any student to start from scratch sort of and achieve B2 plus level. This is the best case scenario. Like, you study basically 5 hours a day, you do not lose your motivation, you basically do everything in the book, and then you have language aptitude, you get good guidance and everything, and then this is achievable 9 to 12 months. But honestly speaking, and truth must be told, because as much as I would like to say that we are a business entity, I am very purist person when it comes to education. So this is definitely the best case scenario, and I have to tell you, most of the people who have succeeded, most of the students that have succeeded with us have not been able to achieve in 9 to 12 months. And there are various reasons for that. It's not like it's a fault of BBarters. That would be easy thing to say. Oh, you're not good enough. No, it's not like that. As I said, most of the students are married, they have kids, they have jobs, they have career and unexpected family issues. A lot of things can happen. Pandemic happened in the middle of all. Uh, so yeah, very rarely you see a person who pulls it off in 9 to 12 months. Pretty rarely, but most of the people take slightly more time than that, and that's more realistic schedule, like something around 12 to 16 months. Again, that also requires a lot of effort. It's not like it's just by attending some classes you can do that, but this still remains 9 to 12 months. Still remains the best case scenario. So hopefully, Tanmay, that can that can address the concern of Tanmay. Okay, let me address some more questions. Let me see if I have more questions. Okay. New Express entry in 2023. Okay, somebody asked about new changes in the Express entry system in 2023. Okay, I follow the news and details on various forums and websites, just like you guys do, probably, who are interested in immigration. As I said, with the caveat that BBarters, we are not experts of immigration. We never said that we are not. We don't. That's not our area of expertise. So I'm just going to give you the information that is there in public domain, but that is not our area of concern. If you want, we can recommend some, agents. But as we understand from around February 2023, it's going to slightly change. Express entry is going to remain like all program draws, like all the people outside Canada will be invited, but maybe they will choose the knocks, like the professions for which they want people from February 2023 onwards. So not every draw will be about all the professions, all the knocks, right? They will be about some specific knocks. Having said that, and I'm sure that you have been doing your own research and you're watching videos by immigration experts and stuff like that. Having said that, that's not necessarily bad news, because that will mean that there will not be one CRS cutoff for everyone. Like right now, everyone is competing with everyone. That will not be the case probably. So that will be better, I think, in certain ways, like some professions which are not as common as, let's say, programmers or IT people will get a fair chance of getting an invitation, because right now mostly it's about those who are masters and those who have a lot of experience, and if they know French is always cherry on the cake. Like once you have French CLB 7, then you don't have to worry about all this changes in express entry and everything. That basically gives you 74 extra points. Okay, so you will be able to counter all the future changes in the express entry system. So you will be, you know, change proof in that regard. So I definitely recommend to go for it anyway. But there's no specific draws. What exact effects they will have, we don't know just yet. But I think it will be more balanced system. Also, at the same time, I don't think they will stop inviting information technology people at all. Like that's not possible. So it's not like no IT people. That's not going to happen. So they will be balanced, because they are aware that as much as they are aware of their own needs, they're also aware of the demographic that exists, because they have been doing express entry for like 4 or 5 years now. So they have the data. So they cannot just miss out on good talent. They also have to understand the adaptability of people and language that people speak and everything. So it's not going to be just this way or that way. It will be evolved, but I think it will restore justice in terms of like the all kinds of professions will get a chance. It will still be competitive, but it will not be as cutthroat as it is right now. So I think it will be better, but yeah, let's see how it actually pans out. So that's pretty much the knowledge that I have at this point of time. Let me go through some more questions. Can we get direct admission to phase 2, 3 based on our current level? Yes, Madhuri, that is possible. We can totally work on that. But at the same time, right now, because we are slightly changing the model of the program, like we are doing this with a new set of research and new set of things. So we are currently only starting phase one. So we are not starting phase one and phase two at the same time. We're going to complete phase one at least to see how do we do with this new research model and what changes we have to make, what adjustments we have to make, and what kind of team we have to construct. Maybe we have to add some people to our team and something like that. So although it is definitely possible that get we can have admissions directly to phase two, right now we are only starting phase one as we speak on 4th of September, like on the 4th of September. Okay. Devalina says, already in the process of pre-recorded program, that is tutorials program. You have already purchased the tutorial program. You're using it. So what do I suggest for you? Okay. I don't know. Like, I mean, I cannot suggest anything to you, but it's up to you. Is it like, if self-driven program with the live study sessions good enough for you? Is it working for you, or you need to do more? It's up to you to decide. I cannot take that call for you. But if you think that the new this other program that you're offering, the extensive preparation program, might work better for you, and so you're most welcome to apply for it. We are still in the process of deciding on it based on how the next few couple of weeks pan out. We might introduce a model where the students who are existing students of tutorials program might be offered some sort of discount to if they want to purchase or want to take admission in our extensive preparation program. That's something that we are thinking about. It's not been decided yet, I have to be honest, but it's up to you. You think if the live program component or live teaching, or this language reinforcement methodology that we are talking about, if that is more suitable for you, if that might help you more, then you're most welcome to apply for this extensive preparation program. So that was a similar question by Ayan, that you had already purchased tutorials program. Yes, we are aware of that, and as I just answered for Devalina, we are definitely working on a model where we can come up with some kind of offering, which if you want to also take admission in the extensive preparation program, we might offer you some sort of discount. Do you have any program to help improve speaking? I'm in a B2 level, but my speaking still needs a lot of improvement. I also want to attain TEF. Sure. That's a good question, actually. So we were in discussion with some native speakers here in Paris, because I know a lot of people now here, to via BBarters to offer these specific programs either for speaking or writing. So that we are engaging with people here. As you asked, I already have that in the working. So we will publish the details of these programs where they are just for speaking practice or writing practice, or combination of speaking and writing. So that's a good question, and we are already working on it. I don't know your name; it only says MO here, but thanks for asking, MO, and I will. We will publish the details on our website as soon as we have all the details figured out about that specific program. Okay, let me get another. Okay. Can we get old course? Love status. I do not understand what you mean by. Can you clarify a little bit? Can we get old course? What do you mean by that? Uh, okay, till the time the love status clarifies the question, I'll try to answer. Thank you, Ayan. Messi. Ashutosh, what will duration of each live session? Live session is around about 1 hour and 15 minutes. That's the effective duration of live session. Pre-recorded. What? But that program is still available. Love status, like the tutorials program, as I can show you, it's still we are still offering the live. Online tutorials program. You can still go and purchase that. That's completely self-driven, all the content, and we are constantly updating the contents of that program also. Even though it's mostly self-driven, we still improve the, what you say, the artifacts such as study resources, sometimes even videos. We put new recordings time to time. So those you can still go and buy this online tutorials program if you think it's more cost effective for you. I'm still teaching, like it's the same teacher everywhere, so it's that thing is already there. Yeah, Mohin. Okay, okay, fantastic. Thank you, Mohin, for telling us your name. Okay, any other questions? If you please keep asking your question, that is pretty much the basic objective of this session today. So we answer as many questions as we can. Well, the Nigeria for Nigeria will have the as the fees are mentioned on our website, Sigum. It will be the international students fees. The only good thing about being outside student is that you don't have to pay the GST if you're paying from Nigeria, because GST is the extra service tax that is introduced, that is basically government of India charges, but that is not applicable for foreign transactions. Like if you're using international cards. Live sessions. Okay, Archit, I already spoke at length about the 3 sessions per week. I don't know if you were there for that part. Uh, so, for example, I know you have been studying at BBarters for a long time now. That we used to teach, if you remember, Archit, like we used to teach the details, like every topic, like grammar topics or vocabulary topics. But most of the time, it was the trainer who was engaging students, and the students also used to participate. So that remains the first session. Uh, that remains the first session that we talked about. A second session is where I'll be taking the role of reviser. So I'll be revising the grammar and vocabulary. Plus, there will be some exercises that will be conducted in session. Okay. So revision plus exercises in session, that will be, and that's also the chance where you ask all the questions, something that you are not understood or something that you find difficult. So that is where we address that. So not only revision, but reinforcement. And the third live session is where we have designed activities that are based on that specific topic. So students will be learning to apply French with the context of that particular topic. So again, this is the third kind of reinforcement of the same topic. So those are the, on broader terms, the contents of those 3 sessions, yeah, on the 2 live sessions that we spoke about. Uh, Pre-recorded sessions, original from, yes, but we also are changing some of them, but most of them probably will remain the same, but we will change because the grammar doesn't change much. And cost of phase 3 is also specified on the website. It's not, okay, let me just quickly check. Yeah, the phase 3 is around 8,000 or 9,000 Indian rupees. It's different for international student, but 8,000 to 9,000 Indian rupees for phase 3. But yeah, we will definitely publish that on the website whenever we are launching, phase 3. And we could also start an iteration of phase 3 earlier. We don't have to wait till phase 1 and phase 2 of this new 4 September batches to get over, because we understand that there are students who have been studying with us or have been studying throughout pandemic, and they're probably more closer to exam than the students who will be starting now. So definitely we'll definitely are also thinking, and we'll do it, that we'll start a version of phase 3 you know in recent, or like in coming months, rather than waiting for you know phase 1 and phase 2 to get over. So thank you so much, Archit, for asking all the questions and for your patience. I admire that. Yes. Okay, I don't know. Can you please tell me your name? Yes, okay, if it's not required, but I have spoken already 2 times about what's the difference between the current offering, the tutorials program, and this new extensive preparation program. Uh, so I have spoken in length about what exactly is the difference. So I don't know if you are there for that. If not, we'll definitely have the recording of this live session on YouTube channel available. So you could just go through the first 10 minutes and you'll understand the difference between, um, what's the difference in terms of recorded program and the new live version. We did address that in today's session at length. So sorry for the brevity of time. I cannot just repeat all of it third time. But yeah, please watch the recording for 10 minutes and that will be clear to you. Tanmay is asking, will the recorded session be available for limited duration or lifetime? Okay, that's a fair enough question. So as you know, phase one will last for about 4.5 months. Obviously, during that time, you can access the entire contents. But yeah, definitely what we generally do is once the phase one is over, we give people some more extra time, registered students, so that they have the access for, let's say, 2 months or something. That's free of cost, of course. And after that, even after that, if you really still want to have access to those sessions, we will give you the extension in a affordable prices. Like for example, in tutorials program, we give extension for 2,500 rupees or something for 4 months or 5 months. So it's going to be much lesser in cost. Like the extension is going to be much like, you're talking about 20% cost of the program if you want 4 or 5 months extension, if you need it at all. So there will be the provision for that, Tanmay. Hopefully that answers your questions. Uh, yes. Will the live sessions be recorded and made available in case you miss a session for revision? Yes, yes. Oh, I mean, whatever teaching happens at BBarters, we record it, even this live session, and those recordings are available in the classrooms for the registered students. Okay, hopefully, Tanmay, that answers that question. Then Artsy says, okay, that's more like a feedback. Will it be equivalent to old program? Artsy Viva. I do not get the Artsy Viva. I Will it be equivalent to old one? I mean, I don't understand what's the old one. We spoke at length about this new program that we are launching is slightly different. The mindset is slightly different. The methodology is slightly different as we are focusing not only on teaching. We already did teaching, but we are more focusing on application of language, like practicing the language, revising the language, reinforcing the language. So that's the big change. So it's not really quote unquote equivalent of old program. It's a redesigned program, sort of redesigned program based on our feedback, based on the feedback that we received from students, based on observation of their journeys. Even when they finished our programs and they started preparing on their own, we still kept in touch with many of our students, and thus we have taken that feedback into account in the design of this new program. Yes, Gino. Yeah, that's pretty much the expectation that we will start. As you know, if you're aware, we in the last iteration we just go on continuously more or less. So that is about that time you can expect it to start. Anupriya, for your question, yes, we are definitely going to start exam-specific programs soon because we are aware that many students were preparing throughout pandemic, either with us with tutorials program or even before that with other programs. So uh, we are definitely going to be definitely launching the new iterations of exam-specific preparation programs. But it will just we are slightly busy with this new launch of new program, redesigning research and admissions. So once we are done with that, once we start the new batches, we will basically start, and we will be notified via various mediums, not only just website. Uh, Actual content, AS. What do you mean? Okay, actual content. So content doesn't change because, in a sense, the content is the same. Just the activities. We introduce more activities, more examples. You know, the content is same. Content cannot change in a sense that like the topics are the same because French doesn't change. So we know what content is required, and that content is available on our website. If you just syllabus, so these are the topics that are covered, as you can see, all the topics. So that is pretty much the content. The big change is about how do we guide you with relation to this content. So content is not going to change much, but assignments are going to change, activities are going to change. The delivery mechanism slightly, at least in the third live session, is going to like the second live session, or the third session on that topic is going to change. But apart from that, the contents do not change. The syllabus or whatever it is the same, more or less. Love status asks, can we crack it in 8 months if we give 8 hours per day? Short and final answer is no. 8 hours a day is not possible. Not more or less not possible. I mean, technically it is possible for someone to sit down and have 8 hours a day. For example, if somebody, it's possible. Like technically, you can sit down and have 8 hours of study. The issue with that is that studying 8 hours a day a language is not going to all get in. You might actually end up sitting 8 hours, writing 8 hours, or reading 8 hours, but if it's not going to be effective. The reason for that is language is absorbed in your neurons. Language is, like language is it takes time to what you'd say. I'm trying to find the right adjective for that, but basically it's absorption. It's not understanding. It's just it's a habit. You have to form habit, like playing a guitar. Somebody can tell you how to play a guitar in one day. Like you put the finger here, put the finger there, put the finger there, and you start strumming. That can be understood in one day or 1 month. But to get better at it, it takes time. So same with language. Uh, Language absorption takes time. So you cannot shorten the journey beyond a particular limit. So 8 months, 8 hours per day is highly aggressive, highly aggressive. I mean, it's possible. I'm not saying that it's impossible. There are people who have done it, uh, but those definitely will be the exceptional cases. Like most of the people would not be able to follow this schedule and get it done in 8 months. I would say it's yeah, it's very difficult. That's from my experience. That from hundreds of students that we have worked with, taking all into account. So it's not coming from it's not opinion. It's coming from an observation, and it's also my duty, sort of like that. I must say the truth because otherwise we could just there are people or there are you know businesses which are selling courses as whatever by saying whatever students need to want to hear, but that's not what we are into. So yeah, I would say it's very ideal situation. But kudos to you if you can pull that off. It's not impossible, but it's pretty difficult, I would say. Edito sessions will continue on weekly basis or integrated new learning phases. No, Gino. Edito sessions are part of the tutorials program. They will remain part of the tutorials program, and they will continue to happen as they have been happening through last months, like whatever. So yeah, they will not integrate into that the tutorials program will remain how it is. It's not going to change into some other program. This is just extensive preparation program. Extensive preparation program is a new program. That's it. All right, we have still got some 5-6 minutes more. If you guys have any questions, anything whatsoever, it doesn't have to be just about program. It could be about anything. You could you could definitely ask right now. So Ashutosh, that's a very good question. Ideal time to spend on practice activities apart from classes. Yeah. So it has to be progressive, Ashutosh, because in the early earlier part of your journey, you you will not have a lot of knowledge. So at that time, you practically cannot do a lot. So in the initial part, there will be 2 to 3 hours. I always used to say, or I will still say to people, start with 2 to 3 hours per day for the first 2-3 months. That's more than good enough because you really don't know a lot and you cannot digest a lot in the beginning. So you do that. And then as you know more and more, as you understand more and more structure, more tenses, uh, you can then increase it because now you have more material to revise, more material to practice or apply. So gradually it goes from 2 to 3 hours per day, then 3 to 4 hours per day for 2-3 months, and then last 5-6 months it has to be like 4 to 5 hours a day because then you have a lot of things to do about. So that's a gradual progression. You start with 2 to 3 for 2-3 months, and 3 to 4 2-3 months, and then last 5-6 months you go 4 to 5 hours a day. Beyond 5 hours a day, that's I would say then that it starts getting into the realm of ineffective studies because I think you cannot absorb that more than that in a day language. So hopefully, Ashutosh, that answers your query. Let me know what you think about that answer, and if not, we can discuss it a little bit more. You are right, love status. I hate reading that name again and again. Love status. You could have chosen some LS or something. Anyway, you have quit your job and you have more time at your in your hands than probably some other people. That's correct. That's the beneficial. Definitely, it's not like it's not. But then again, there are practical limitations about how much you can absorb in a day. Okay, so language takes time. It's just the way it is. The truth is that language takes time because it becomes part of your thinking. It becomes part of your brain mechanism. So it takes time. It's not like science or programming languages or some other things where you just put in the hours and you get it done. Putting hours helps. I'm not saying putting hours is not helpful. I'm just saying there's a limit to how much you can shorten the journey. So that's why, if it helps you, let me repeat this: 9 to 12 months is the best possible scenario for people who are starting from sort of scratch, have no background in French or Spanish or any other similar foreign language like Italian. Um, so that's pretty much the best case scenario. That's the bare minimum, and that's just not my opinion. That's observation, that's experience, and that's everything. Anybody who is advising against that, anybody saying 6 months mein ho jayega, that they are just selling you lies. They're not up to you who you want to believe. But language learning takes time, and you have to respect that. There's just no running away from that, and that's fine. That's fine. It's a long term investment. It's not just like, I know, I understand the practical limitations of life. Ki it's not always possible for everyone to spend years and years into that, but learning a language like French can have lifetime consequences. If you learn it, you will have like, I was supposed to go to Canada. My plan was to immigrate to Canada, and that was the only reason I learned French. But thanks to French, I ended up having completely new set of possibilities in life, and now I'm, in Paris, living in Paris with very good possibilities. So it's a good investment of time, even if it takes slightly more time than what you're planning for. It's still a very 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 good investment of time. All right, let's go to some other question. Prep My Future site. When should I subscribe to Prep My Future site? Ideally, Josna, it should be 1 month before the exam date. Like if you have booked the exam, 1 month before that, um, you should be using Prep My Future. I mean, subscription usually, if I remember correctly, it is valid for 1 year once you purchase it. So you could theoretically you can start 2 3 months ahead also, but extensively 1 month before the exam, you start uh, 1 month before exam you start spending more and more time on Prep My Future, because that exam specific preparation then helps you if it's fresh. If it's like in that period of 1 month before the exam, your mind gets tuned to the intricacies of the exam. So I would say ideal duration to start focusing on Prep My Future is 1.5 months. Like they also have a lot of exercises, but the exam specific test and everything 1 month before the exam. Okay, yeah, Gino. No, we still. I mean, we still use Edito. Edito remains our favorite textbooks because they are very effective. And yeah, definitely we are focusing more on all four aspects of the exam: reading, listening, speaking, and writing. That is definitely the thought behind this redesign of the program offering. So you are right in that regard. All right. If you guys do not have any questions, I'll just wait for a couple of minutes and then we can conclude this session. But if you have any questions, please let us know. And if not just here, you can get in touch with us at info@bbarters.com. You can write to us there and ask any questions. We are also available on other mediums like Telegram, WhatsApp, whatever you feel comfortable. Details are there on our website. Also, program details are there on our website. I look forward to meeting you guys again, and all the best. Yep.